Hi, I'm Jory Goodman. Most of you probably know me as the time teller here on YouTube, but I'd like to take a moment, if you don't mind, and talk to you about MVMT watches. Movement Watches in about only 5 years has been able to sell 1.5 million watches. And they all suck. What's going on, everybody? I'm Jory Goodman, the time teller. So guys, it's true, if you spend any amount of time here on YouTube, chances are at least one of your favorite YouTubers is pushing Movement Watches, and I'm here to do the exact opposite. So here's 5 reasons Movement Watches suck. It's 2:35 p.m. Let's get down to business. Now guys, I'm wearing my awesome vintage Omega Seamaster, one of my favorite watches, just kind of sporty yet elegant at the same time, and honestly it's the exact opposite of anything you'll find on Movement Watches website, but let's get into the list. Okay, the first thing I hate about Movement Watches, MVMT, is the name. So okay, Movement, you sell watches, Movement Watches, seems clever, right? Well, the movements that are in the watches they sell, they meet like the most basic minimum requirements of being considered watch movements. So let's take a look at this chronograph. Well, it resembles a chronograph anyway. How usable it is, I don't know, we'll talk about that in a moment, but let's go down to where it shows the specs. Okay, right next to where it says movement, well, it doesn't really specify much about the movement, and that scares me, okay? That tells me that they're probably pulling from just the cheapest, nastiest Chinese movements they could find, and yeah, it's really interesting, because some of the watches in their catalog, they actually do specify that that watch is using a Miyota quartz movement. Again, a very basic Miyota movement, but a Miyota. So, kind of interesting. Sometimes it's a Miyota, and sometimes, well, we don't know what it is, but it's probably bad. And the next thing I hate about MVMT watches is this thing they have written in their homepage. So I'm going to pull it up right here, but in their homepage under the Our Products section, it says MVMT delivers premium on-trend watches. So I don't know if I should hate them for this or just applaud them for being honest. They're not trying to make legitimate watches, they're just trying to make on-trend accessories. So trendy accessories. And I don't know about you, but my watches don't need to be trendy, they just need to be timeless. I know, it sounds weird. In my opinion, watches should be timeless. And like, look, this Omega Seamaster, it's at least a decade older than me, but it is still really cool, and there's nothing trendy about it. So just, I don't know. I don't like these kind of cheap accessories. I don't like anything that's super trendy, except for these clear glasses frames. Clear glasses frames are coming back and they look cool. All right, so before we get into the next thing I hate about MVMT watches, I'm gonna take a moment and actually give them some credit for something. There are some things they are doing kind of reasonably. When we look at their watches, I've been noticing their sizes, and their sizing is actually quite reasonable. They range from 40mm to 45mm watches, and they don't look like big, clunky, gaudy monstrosities. They're not really like on the Invicta level yet. They're more like a reasonably sized Movado Bold. So still really ugly, still really unusable, but not totally gaudy yet. But then when I was looking at their sizes and thinking, okay, I can't really hate on them for this, I noticed their prices. And this is where things get kind of sketchy for me. They range from like, let's say $130 to $150, and that may not seem like a whole lot of money to buy a watch at that price range, but let's take a look at what you're getting. You're getting a really cheaply made watch with a no-name movement. We know it's quartz, but that's about it. And maybe if you're getting a watch with a decent movement, it's gonna be a very basic Miyota. These watches cost them maybe $4 max to build, and you're gonna waste $130 on one. I don't know, in my valuation, it's just not worth it. And if you want another strap or another bracelet, you're gonna be spending an extra $40. So it's just, yeah, don't waste your money. You could be getting a really good watch for that money, like the Orient Bambino, really any Orient, or maybe a Seiko 5. Just save your money and get one of those, an actual mechanical watch that will last you. Don't buy one of these movements. All right, so for the next thing I hate about Movement watches, we're gonna bring back that chronograph. So what are the subdials on that chronograph, right? There's like no indexes, so how would you use it? Well, I have the spec sheet in front of me. This chronograph comes in 40mm or 45mm. It is gunmetal. Again, it has a no-name movement. They didn't care to specify that, but the subdials are a 24-hour clock, a 30-minute timer, and a 60-second timer Which one's which? I don't know, but that might be kind of fun. You decide. That's right, guys. This chronograph is utterly useless. There's no indexes anywhere. I think on the chapter ring there's some slight indexes so you can actually tell the time, but as far as using the chronograph complication, no, you can't. Not to actually measure time, at least. And the final thing I hate about movement watches, I'm gonna pull up another watch. This is the Mariner, okay? Or Mariner, however you wanna say it. Bottom line, this is their sports watch offering. And what kind of bugs me is that the only sports watch they offer, the only diver they offer, they had to throw Mariner in the name. I don't know. I don't like that. Leaves a bad taste in my mouth. I know the majority of people that are buying these watches probably don't know or care about the Rolex Submariner. I know they're like the only people on earth that don't know about the Rolex Submariner. But it's kind of frustrating. I won't say that this MVMT Mariner is an homage of the Submariner, but it is a dive watch with a bezel and a 3 o'clock crown with crown guards. And they're calling it a Mariner. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Leave me a comment. Is that stupid? Does it bother you? Because it bothers me. But let's take a look at this watch. Okay, it does have a 100-meter water resistance rating. I don't know how trustworthy that is, but it looks like on the dial from the picture, right above the 6 o'clock, or right above the date window, I should say, it says 100 meter. But the 1 in the 100 is covered up by the second hand. I think that's a 1. I highly doubt it has any more than a 100-meter water resistance rating. It does have crown guards. I don't know if that crown is threaded at all. I don't know if there's any lume on it because, again, they did very little to indicate anything about this watch. Okay, it does say the strap is silicone, so they are going for kind of the sports watch aesthetic. This one does have the battery-powered 3-hand Miyota quartz. A battery-powered quartz? Who would have thunk? So, okay, this watch bothers me if you couldn't tell. The Mariner, maybe a 100-meter water resistance rating, hardened mineral crystal, it says. It is reasonably sized, I will give them that. It's only 42 millimeters, so it's not this big hunk of metal on your wrist, but for $145, which is what the price is listed here, you could get a Seiko 5 diver or an Orient diver and be really happy with that. An actual mechanical watch that you can actually bang around and get wet with like no problem. This just sounds like kind of a waste of money to me, but again, maybe you've come to a different conclusion, so leave me a comment, let me know, tell me I'm wrong. I'd be happy to hear from you. All right, guys, I think we just hit 5 reasons why I hate MVMT or movement watches. Number 1, the name. I hate that they sell on-trend, trendy watches and accessories. I hate their pricing. I hate that unusable chronograph, and I hate that Mariner diver. So yeah, 5 reasons. I could probably find more, and if you found more, leave me a comment and let me know. But really quick, I want to go over something that's very interesting about this company that I kind of realized upon going on their website and snooping around a bit. I realized that their whole website is like one big press kit for the brand. No, not for their products, for the brand. Like even the header on their website, the sections are men, women, and brand. It's crazy. You see, they spend as little time as possible talking about the actual products they sell, and they spend a whole lot more time talking about themselves and how many followers the company has and how many watches they've sold and how successful they've become and they're entrepreneurs and yada, 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 yada. Why are they doing this? Well, let's think about this for a moment. MVMT, or Movement, may not know how to make a good watch, but they're not idiots. They understand that pretty much no one is randomly jumping on their website and being compelled to buy a watch from there. No, they understand that the influencers they accrue are actually the ones that are selling the watches with their promo codes and their discounts. You see, the website isn't being used to sell watches to customers, it's being used to sell the brand to influencers. But I don't think any of this is fooling you guys. I think so many of you are asking me about Movement watches, not because you're interested in them, but because you kind of wanted to see me explode. But yeah, I'm not happy and I don't like their watches. And if you want a watch in that price range, just get an Orient or a Seiko 5 and you will be happy. You'll be a lot happier, I promise. But are any of you actually interested in Movement watches? Please leave me a comment. I'd love to hear from you. I definitely want to talk you out of it. Please let me know. And as always, guys, I want to thank you so much for checking out the Time Teller shop. Now, you won't find any movement watches there, but you will find a lot better watches there, so check it out. I add new watches and watch accessories to that store daily, so when you click the link in the description below and shop around, it really does help the channel out a ton, so thank you so much for that. And if you're new here, if this is your first time joining us here on the Time Teller channel, I want to say thank you so much for stopping by. Why don't you take a second, click that subscribe button. It really does help me out a ton, and while you're at it, go ahead and click that little bell icon so you're notified when I upload. Okay, YouTube doesn't always do a great job notifying my subscribers when I upload a video, and I upload a video almost every day of the week, so you don't want to miss out, guys. Again, click that bell icon. I'll love you for it. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Share this with other watch enthusiasts, other people that you think would enjoy this. I'm Jory Goodman, the Time Teller, and always remember, I didn't invent time. I just tell it.